Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel Joyful Jessie. I am Jessie. In today's video, I am so excited to share with you all how is it that I take the traditional Spanish dessert of flan and tweak it a little bit to make it into this wonderful pumpkin pie spice flan that is perfect not just for the fall season and the Thanksgiving holiday, but any time that you just have that desire to have a little bit of pumpkin pie. So make sure to stick around and watch. I know that the fall is pumpkin pie season and fall is almost over and Thanksgiving was just over. However, my family is still in the pumpkin pie mood and I've made this flan like 3 times already since Thanksgiving, which Thanksgiving was only like a couple weeks away. But my family is obsessed with pumpkin pie, especially my son and my husband. They could just eat pumpkin pie all year round. Now, flan is that traditional caramel custard dessert that we eat that it's, you know, it has the eggs, the condensed milk, the sugar, the vanilla. But what I did this time around is I just added that pumpkin pie spice that you add in pumpkin pie that gives it that delicious pumpkin pie flavor into this dessert, and it was absolutely amazing. Now there is like so many different types of flans out there. There is coconut flan, there's pineapple flan, there is cheese flan, there's coffee flan. Like people put all sorts of flavors into flan. There actually even is a pumpkin flan that you actually use the pumpkin puree and you actually put it in there to make pumpkin flan. But I didn't want pumpkin flan, I wanted pumpkin pie flan. I wanted to just have the taste of pumpkin pie and still the same traditional consistency as the regular flan. So I experimented with this and it was an absolute success. My kids absolutely loved it. My son actually asked me, "Hey mom, did you make a video of this yet?" And I was like, "No, not really." He's like, "You should really make one because this is really good." My daughter actually calls this soft pumpkin pie. So I thought, why not share it with you guys? I feel like this dessert is not just a dessert that is good for the fall or the Thanksgiving season, but all year around. Anytime that you have that pumpkin pie kind of like hankering that you really want to have it, but you really don't want to make, you know, a crust and all that, do this simple dessert and I feel like I still get the same satisfaction from it. So if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, go ahead and click that subscribe button and that notification bell so that you never miss out of when I post a new video. So let's go ahead and get started. These are the only ingredients that we are going to be using to be making our delicious pumpkin pie flan. We're going to be needing about 1 cup of sugar. We're going to be needing 4 eggs, about a teaspoon of vanilla extract. You can use 1 or 2 teaspoons of the pumpkin spice or the pumpkin pie spice. I've done it both ways depending how much of the flavor you want on it. It has to be the pumpkin pie spice because it has the combination of like the cinnamon, the nutmeg, the ginger, the cloves, all that good stuff that makes it taste like a pie. So you can use about, like I said, 1 teaspoon depending how much of that flavor you would like in your flan. We're going to need 1 can of condensed milk and 1 can of evaporated milk. You're going to need a little bowl to go ahead and mix your ingredients in, and a whisk. If you don't have a whisk, you can use a fork. And then you are going to need some sort of 2 containers that you're going to be baking in. I don't have round containers. These are the 2 that I have readily available at home. So you're gonna need a bigger one, you're gonna need a smaller one. The smaller one is where you are going to be placing your flan in, and the bigger one is for the baño de María, the water bath that we're gonna be putting it in. We typically will be putting water in here first, and then placing this in there as it bakes in the oven. So let's go ahead and get started. First of all, we are going to start by making the caramel that goes at the very bottom of the flan. We're going to start by turning on our heat, and we're going to turn it at about a medium. Then we're going to take our 1 cup of sugar, and we're simply going to place it inside whichever pan you're using. I'm using a saucepan, and you're going to see that within a minute, the surroundings of the sugar is going to start melting, and that's going to create the caramel. Once that starts to happen, you're going to want to start to constantly mix that sugar. One thing we don't want is to burn the sugar, because once the sugar burns, it becomes very, very bitter. So we don't want it to be a dark color. We want it to be a nice caramel color. So as you see, our sugar in the corners started melting a little bit. We're gonna start mixing it. Now, you're going to wanna make sure, like I said before, that it does not burn, because then your sugar becomes bitter. Right now, I have my fire at about a medium, and then I'm mixing. If you notice that yours is getting to be browned too quickly and it's not getting to the rest of your sugar, you might want to turn your heat down to a low until you can get it all even. That's what mine is looking like right now. I think I'm going to turn my heat down a little bit. Sometimes there's going to be those little clumps of sugar. Just tap them down and keep mixing. You see how it's getting that nice little caramel color? It's almost done. Some people like theirs a tad darker. I like mine to be a little bit on the lighter side. Once our caramel is ready, we're going to take the container that we're going to be making our flan in. I like to place mine on top of the stove just to make it easier. And then I'm going to cover the entire bottom of the container with the caramel sauce. Now that we have our caramel in our container, we're going to go ahead and start making our flan. We are going to start with our 4 eggs, and we are going to mix it together with the whisk. If you don't have a whisk, simply use a fork. Then I'm going to take the condensed milk, and I'm going to mix the condensed milk with the eggs. I like to do these thicker ingredients first, just because it's easier to mix, and it just makes sure that I have blended all the ingredients well together. Then I'm gonna add my evaporated milk into that mix, and I'm gonna give it another mixing. Now we're going to take a pumpkin pie spice, which is that super essential ingredient that we're going to be using to make it have that delicious pumpkin pie flavor. I'm going to put 1 teaspoon, you're welcome to add 2, and then I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and then I'm gonna mix all the ingredients together. Mix is ready. We are then going to pour it into our container. We're then going to be placing our larger container with about, I'd say 1 to 2 inches of water in the bottom. I recommend that you place this container in there when you first go to preheat your oven at 350 degrees. Then after you do that, you're going to take your smaller container that actually has the flan in it, and you're going to place it in the oven. You're gonna cook for about 50 to 60 minutes, depending. At 50 minutes, you can go ahead and check with a little toothpick, and if it comes out moist, go ahead and leave it for another 10 minutes. Another trick is to tap on the top, and if you notice that it's firm all the way through, go ahead and take it out. If you notice that it ripples, then that means that it still needs a little bit more time to cook. Look how beautiful it just looks. Now, this is a little bit different than your traditional just plain vanilla caramel custard, because this has that pumpkin spice in it. All this is not that it's burned. This is just that pumpkin spice just on top of it, floating on the top. But it looks so pretty. And what I'm gonna do before putting it over into the refrigerator. I've done this both ways to kind of take the edges off when we are going to plate it. I've done it, you know, before putting into the refrigerated or after it's done refrigerating, but I'm gonna try it before this time. I'm gonna take a knife. One thing that I've learned is that when it's hot, the caramel will simply just float on the sides when I do this. And I don't know why, I just like that. So you see how the caramel just comes on? And then we're going to place this in the refrigerator to set and to get nice and chilled for about, I'd say, at the bare minimum 4 hours. We want this to be nice and cold. So our flan has been chilling in the fridge for quite a few hours, and I had already detached it before I put it in there. So you can kind of see like the caramel kind of came onto the sides. You can go ahead and do the detaching of the corners afterwards. I'm just gonna run my butter knife once more just to make sure that there isn't anything around there. And this right here is that spice, that pumpkin pie spice that just tends to float on the top, but actually when you eat it, it has a really good flavor at the bottom of it. I also have a plate that I'm going to be flipping it into. Now that they're loose in there, I'm gonna take my plate, simply going to put it on top, and I'm quickly just going to give it a little flip and remove. And there is our flan. And you can see the little bits of that little pumpkin spice on it. And then sometimes if you have the sugar that gets stuck on the bottom, you can simply like with a spoon scrape it off and more caramel will come on there like so. Look how beautiful and how delicious that flan looks. Can't wait to give it a try. All right, everyone, it's time to give our flan a little taste, and I have one of my biggest food fans here with me to see how it came out. Are you ready? All right.
I liked it a lot.
Yeah?
It was better than the last one.
It was better than the last one?
No, it tastes the same.
It tastes the same, but it's better than the last one I made. You guys definitely need to give this a try. It is super simple to make, super easy as you saw.
And also super tasty.
And also, like I said, super tasty. All right, everyone, now it's your turn to go ahead and give this delicious dessert a try. If I can do it, you most definitely can make this. Thank you so much for watching, and please remember to
like and subscribe.
So we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.